From the banks of the Colorado River in Lake Mead to the homes and businesses in southern Nevada, welcome to Water Smarts, the podcast pumping from the heart of Las Vegas, where we engage with the experts who keep the water flowing throughout southern Nevada. I'm Bronson Mack.
And I'm Zuelke. From how we treat it, deliver it, use it, protect it, and conserve it, the Water Smarts podcast is all about water in southern Nevada. We hope to make you a little smarter about the one thing that keeps us all connected: water.
Hey, Crystal, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you, Bronson?
I am doing well, just, spending a lot of quality time at home and doing what I can to help people conserve water. You know how that goes.
I do. Doing it all the time here. Have you been to the new, well, you probably haven't because we're all staying home as much as we can, but I don't know. Have you checked out the new Hotel Zuelke?
Oh, I actually have to confess, I did get a chance to check out Hotel Zuelke. It was right around shortly after Thanksgiving, and I couldn't believe that sports book. That was pretty impressive property.
I haven't been there, but I've heard really good things about it. And isn't it the first hotel that's opened here in Las Vegas in many years? I mean, I can't even think of which the last one was. Yeah,
it's like the first brand new hotel to open down on Fremont Street in our lifetimes. That's how long it's been since there's been a new casino opened up down there on Fremont Street. And it's crazy because my great uncle used to tend bar at the Vegas Club, which is the site of Zuelke. And it was funny when I was talking with him, I was like, hey, so yeah, I guess they're going to tear down the Vegas Club. He's like, good, they need to. That place is too old. It needs to go. It needs to go away. So it seems to me, and I hadn't been in the Vegas Club for years, but obviously it's a definite upgrade to Fremont Street.
That opening prompted me just thinking about that, we're so used to all the new flashy stuff here in Vegas. There's the saying that we don't preserve history. We like to blow up all the old casinos and hotels, and we have. So I guess that was one of them. Downtown, there used to be the old Showboat. You remember the Showboat?
That's
I know you bowled there, right?
Oh, of course I bowled there. And then it became the Castaways, if you remember.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But that's when it was imploded, right?
That's right. Yeah, there were portions of the Showboat Castaways that were imploded. And the Stardust and El Rancho. You remember that? Did you ever go to the El Rancho? That one's old time.
I don't remember El Rancho. I have memories of the Desert Inn because my mom worked there for a while. The Stardust for sure. But
Riviera, the Hacienda. I mean, all of those old casinos. It's crazy how much history is just now sort of gone from the Las Vegas Strip.
Bronson, yeah, these hotels, although they're gone because we watched them be imploded, they're not really gone.
What do you mean they're not really gone? Because I watched the dunes be imploded my senior year of high school.
Well, the rubble that came from, all these hotels being imploded, I shouldn't say all, but several of them were recycled and reused, and they now line the banks of the Las Vegas Wash, which helps us control the flow of the water that moves through there. And as you know, the Las Vegas Wash plays an essential role in our water resources here in Las Vegas.
I think about that, Crystal. Think about how crazy that is. I mean, here you are, the Las Vegas Strip. You've got these iconic hotels, the Stardust, the El Rancho, the Hacienda. You've got the Showboat downtown. All of these properties that employed tens of thousands of Southern Nevadans that brought obviously a whole lot of joy and hopefully a whole lot of winning to those who visited those properties. But while those properties are no longer on the Las Vegas Strip or on Fremont Street, catering to tourists, they're actually catering now to the community as recycled rubble at the Las Vegas Wash?
That's exactly it, which is really important. And it's kind of cool when you think about it, because like I said, everybody likes to think that in Vegas we don't preserve history, but we do. And we're doing it in a way that's useful and is good for our environment. So it's a pretty cool concept, I think.
Yeah, that is a cool concept. The hotels of Las Vegas that once brought employment and joy to so many people continue to live on at the Las Vegas Wash, where they are helping our water supply and protecting the wash. That's a crazy story. And today we are extremely lucky to have Keiba Crear, who is the manager of the environmental monitoring and management team for the Southern Nevada Water Authority. They are responsible for the Las Vegas Wash, overseeing that waterway where old casinos go to live on. Keiba Crear, thank you for joining us on Water Smarts. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you, Bronson. And thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate being here. You guys know I love talking about the Las Vegas Wash. And if I can get anyone in our community to realize the importance of these resources, I'm happy to come out and talk about it.
You know, it really is an important resource. And I think before we get into the importance of the resource, there's some novelty to this that you just heard Crystal and I talking about. All of these casinos, like real quick, Keiba, what's your favorite casino that lives on out there at the Las Vegas Wash now?
Well, I would say probably the Showboat because it's one of my favorite weirs out there. And I know maybe a little bit later we'll talk about the Bostic Weir, but it's a fantastic weir. It even has a dam permit. That's how big that weir is. And so there's rubble coming from the Showboat, still stands there, and the Stardust. And so there are really some treasures out there in the wash that have gone a long way protecting the wash and protecting the water quality for the valley.
So we're going to get to those weirs because that is a critical part of what your team does out at the Las Vegas Wash. Before we get into that, why don't you just get us calibrated and talk a little bit about the importance of Las Vegas Wash? What does it mean to Southern Nevada? What does it do? I mean, why should we care about the wash, Keiba?
Well, Bronson, I think before I tell you why it's really important, it's important for me to tell you where the wash is. It's located in the southeast part of the valley. If you've ever been to Silver Bowl to watch a UNLV game prior to this year, and you looked out and you saw this channel behind you, that's the 12-mile channel that takes all flows from the valley into Las Vegas Bay at Lake Mead. Even if you live in Spring Valley or if you live up at Mount Charleston, all of the water in the watershed flows down to the Las Vegas Wash. So if you think of a bowl that's tilted, all of those flows flow right into the Las Vegas Wash. Why is the wash important? I mean, there's over 200 million gallons a day of water that pass through that 12-mile channel, making its way to Las Vegas Bay and ultimately into Lake Mead. And then we all know Lake Mead is our primary drinking water supply. That's the main importance of the Las Vegas Wash, is because of that drinking water supply.
I really like that visual, Keiba, about the tipping a bowl to explain the flows that go into the Las Vegas Wash. You brought up some really good points that I hope that people think about the next time they want to get their car washed. It might be better to take your car to what we call a water smart car wash instead of washing your car in your driveway where that water flows with all the soapy suds into the wash. So the wash is a natural water channel where stormwater and treated wastewater flows into and then makes its way to Lake Mead. I imagine that ensuring the wash is healthy helps keep our water cleaner as well, right?
Crystal, that's exactly right. You think about the wash and all the different wildlife that you may find out there, but there's also a lot of different plants out there. Those vegetation do a great job of cleaning and filtering the water that flows through Las Vegas Wash. Those impurities, the oil on the ground, the suds from washing your car, all of that stuff makes its way to the Las Vegas Wash. It's harmful for the animals. It's harmful for our water quality. But the one thing that's a positive is that everything we've done over the past 20 years, these wetlands that have established out there are doing what they need to be doing. They're acting like kidneys. They're filtering and taking those contaminants out before it makes its way to our drinking water.
Wow, Keiba, I think that analogy of the kidneys serving our water system, helping to cleanse that water that is flowing down the Las Vegas Wash is very, very fitting. I mean, that's kind of the natural element that occurs to help polish that water a little bit further before it makes its way to Lake Mead. There's another sort of human side to that interaction that occurs too. One is the Clean Water Act, the federal legislation that helps ensure that those discharges that occur into surface water, streams and lakes and rivers all meets an appropriate standards so that it doesn't pollute those waterways. And I know that the discharges that occur from our wastewater agencies and those flows that enter into the Las Vegas Wash, those different 4 flow components you talked about, really do abide by Clean Water Act standards. And so you got this other human element here locally. You got the Clean Water Act there that's helping on the legislative side, but then you've got the people. And the Water Authority has been involved in protecting the Las Vegas Wash since about 1998. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of how that came to be? Because protecting local wetlands isn't what most people associate with a water agency, but it really does take a coordinated effort, does it not?
Bronson, you're right. It does take a coordinated effort. And one of the things that I'm most proud about in this process is that we've been working together for over 20 years, coordinating on our approach. Historically, in the 1970s, the Las Vegas Wash had more than 2,000 acres of wetlands. And these wetlands were created naturally. But if you look at it now, today, we're down to less than 500 acres of wetlands. Why is the Southern Nevada Water Authority involved in this? It's important for us to take care of our community and to take care of our resources. And we had a Water Quality Citizens Advisory Committee that met. They talked about the various issues concerning the wash, water quality being one of the chief concerns. They developed a recommendation to the Southern Nevada Water Authority recommending that we form a coordination committee to look at these issues, because you have all these entities in the valley. You have Clark County, the City of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson. Everyone's got something to do with the wash, but no one really taking that ownership. And our leadership at the Southern Nevada Water Authority thought the water that flows from the valley flows to Lake Mead. And we value the water that's in Lake Mead because it does supply our drinking water. And we want to make sure to take care of what's going on in our valley. They took those recommendations and formed the Las Vegas Wash Coordination Committee. That's how the authority got involved. And that's why I've been working on this project for 20 years, trying to meet the goals established by that Water Quality Citizen Advisory Committee.
So for 20 years, you and the coordination committee have been working on the Las Vegas Wash. I guess what I'm kind of struck by is the fact that all the work that you've been doing with the coordination committee is about the future of the wash. And it's about the future of protecting the Las Vegas Wash, protecting that waterway so that ultimately it is protecting our water supply for all of us that turn on the tap and utilize water that's provided by a utility. Is that about correct?
I think that is about correct, Bronson. All of these folks are working together to coordinate and to ensure that we have a high-quality drinking water that we can supply to the valley.
I've been on a lot of committees, so I know how a lot of committees are. And sometimes it's a lot of just reading documents and sitting around a table and sharing ideas and thoughts. But the Las Vegas Wash Coordination Committee is more than that. It includes about 30 agencies, and they're doing a lot of work and have been doing a lot of work at the Wash over the past couple of decades. Can you tell us what the committee is focused on and how the Water Authority helped implement those efforts?
Sure, Crystal. I think that's a good way for us to kind of go back to this 28-member stakeholder group that has been working together since 1998. One of the first steps that they came up with is that we need to stabilize the Las Vegas Wash. We need to stop the amount of sediment that's making its way into Lake Mead. We need to shore up these banks, and we need to get grade control structures or weirs in place to help stabilize this. And so over the years, the first step was to stabilize the wash. They came up with a document, and I know lots of people think, oh, another document, a lot of words with nothing being done. But I wouldn't say that about this document. We call it the Las Vegas Wash Comprehensive Adaptive Management Plan, and there were 44 action items that were in there that were recommended by the study teams. We had study teams to focus in on things like erosion control, water quality, community outreach. With community outreach, I think some people really underestimate the value of community outreach, but that is so important to make sure that people know what we're doing and that we're transparent and that they come along for the process. And so this committee has been really busy building and implementing and studying and doing lots of research on what's going on in the Las Vegas Wash.
So Keiba, that's a lot of coordination. You talk about 28 different stakeholders that are involved. And look, anytime you work with stakeholders, they're called stakeholders for a reason. They all have a stake in the game. They all have some skin in the game. They all have some objectives that they would like to try and accomplish as a result of the committee process. I have to imagine that's quite a balance that you need to maintain between those 28 members. But I guess it really all comes back to the purpose and need of the Las Vegas Wash and this recycling of water that occurs in returning water back to Lake Mead. And it's something that we commonly refer to as return flow credits. Can you just talk a little bit about the return flow credits? What does that mean for our water supply?
It's important for folks to understand that 100% of all the water we use indoor is recycled. That recycled water flows through the wash and into Lake Mead. And so it gives us return flow credit. That's why we really try to focus on conservation, because for every gallon we put in, we get to take out another gallon. And so it's important that that water is high quality. We all know that Lake Mead is part of the Colorado River system, and that's where we get the primary portion of our drinking water supply. It's important, one, that we're able to get these return flow credits, but then also that we're providing a high quality water. When you do flush your water, it makes its way to a treatment plant, and from that treatment plant, it is discharged to Las Vegas Wash, and then it is released into Las Vegas Bay at Lake Mead, where the water is metered at North Shore Road. We know exactly what we're putting back into the system, and it becomes part of our resource planning, and that the water that we put back into the system, we're able to take it out again.
Wow. So, Keiba, the wash really does play a key role in our water cycle. I mean, as you just indicated, our wastewater agencies here in Southern Nevada treat the wastewater that comes into their plant. That's everything that's gone down the sewer. So whether you flush the toilet or it went down the drain, it goes to a wastewater treatment plant. Those wastewater treatment plants do such a good job treating that wastewater to such a high level of water quality that it can safely be released back to Lake Mead through the Las Vegas Wash. For every gallon that goes back to Lake Mead through that process allows us to take another gallon out and bring it into the valley as treated drinking water. So it goes through multi-levels of treatment there so that it is meeting Safe Drinking Water Act standards, but that allows us to stretch our water supply. That really does sort of shine the spotlight on the importance of the Las Vegas Wash. But you talked a little bit about erosion of the wash. The greatest erosion event in the world has been the creation of the Grand Canyon. So we here in Southern Nevada have some familiarity for the damage that erosion can cause, as well as the beauty. But in the Las Vegas Wash, we want to prevent that damage from happening. So can you talk a little bit about how you engineer activities out at the wash to prevent erosion and control the flow of water?
So when you say Grand Canyon, Bronson, you're not off. Are we the Grand Canyon? No, but I always describe it as a little Grand Canyon. And so the wash over the years widened itself with all of this erosive water. So you know when water's coming really fast, it's very erosive. And so we have now taken a step back from that. And what we've done is gone in and established weirs. Weirs are like little mini dams. The sole role of these weirs is to slow the flow of the water. So if you think about the top of a dam and the bottom of a dam, so the toe of the dam, the water slowly flows over these weirs and they filtrate through the rocks that you see there. We use a number of different processes for making these weirs, but the sole focus of these weirs is to slow the water down and then also to form these wetlands behind them. And so these wetlands, as we said, act as to filter the water, but these weirs help to slow down the flow so it's not going through the wash as fast. And so the second step in stabilizing the wash, what we do is, so now if you think about these steep slopes that you see in the Grand Canyon, we had those here in the wash, but what we've done is we slowly have rolled the banks back, so it's a nice gentle slope from top to bottom. We've planted wetland plants along the banks, and as we make our way of that gentle slope that we've graded back, we transition into riparian, so riparian trees, cottonwoods, and willows. And then as we go higher up on that slope, you can start to think about more of the things that you see out in the desert when you're out on a wash, so like creosote bush, salt bush. So part of that process for us is that we use both mechanical processes to stabilize the wash, but we also use these vegetation to help slow the water, but then also to provide some habitat for wildlife. And so when I started, it was a mini Grand Canyon, but if you go out there now, all that you'll see are a series of erosion control structures that are doing their job, slowing down the flow, allowing for vegetation to grow on the banks and to support wildlife, but also at the same time helping to provide water quality. At the very base of the slopes, we use rock riprap to help stabilize the shores when the water is coming really fast. Rather than eroding those banks again, it's bouncing it back to the middle of the channel. That allows for not to have those erosional events to take place as frequent.
So this is where some of my old favorite hotels have come to rest. It's nice knowing that pieces of Las Vegas landmarks are still contributing to our community. Keiba, can you tell us how you and your team were able to get these structures into the wash? Is there like a graveyard for hotels where you go and you pluck pieces out?
Our engineers put out a call when they were looking for ways that we could keep the costs low on some of our erosion control structures and our weirs. They made calls out to some of these casinos that were imploding and asked if we could have the material. And that's when I say rock riprap. We've used some of these imploded casinos to help in our efforts. The requirement before it came to us is that we asked that it was clean. And so some of the things that we asked for it to do is that the rebar was removed from it. Or if it was in a building that has asbestos or anything like that, we didn't want it. So we made sure that we got really clean material from these imploded casinos because we know they were going to sit in the Las Vegas wash, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't contributing to any water quality issues. And at the same time, we were saving these casinos money because they didn't have to haul it to the landfill. And we were looking for material. And so it was a perfect way for both sides to be sustainable and using used material. But we also got a very clean product that we were able to use to stabilize the banks and help us build the weirs. It's been a great partnership to be able to have gotten some of these old casinos and let them do their job in the wash and helping us to slow down the flow. But at the same time, being a partner to some of the businesses here in casinos in Las Vegas.
Does your yard need a facelift? Well, if it has grass, then it probably does. Give your yard a little nip and tuck and switch your grass to a beautiful water-smart landscape. You'll cut your water use and save money on your monthly water bill. Get a $3 cash rebate from the Southern Nevada Water Authority for every square foot of grass you convert to drip irrigated plants and shrubs. The cash rebate helps cover the majority of your landscape costs, and you'll look good doing it. Apply for the SNWA Water Smart Landscapes rebate program at snwa.com and be the envy of your neighborhood. SNWA is a not-for-profit water agency.
We actually have a question from one of our community members, and I know we didn't talk about this before, but hopefully you'll be willing to take this. It says, I understand that the Las Vegas wash flows to Lake Las Vegas. How does the wash flow into Lake Las Vegas, and where does it flow out? You think you could take that one for us, Keiba?
So actually the wash does not flow into Lake Las Vegas. It actually flows under Lake Las Vegas. So if you've been out to the Las Vegas wash and you've walked the trail system, at the very last weir, there's a fire station. At that fire station, there's two 36-inch diameter pipes that all of the flow from the Las Vegas wash, they flow into those pipes, which flow under Lake Las Vegas, and they exit at the dam of Lake Las Vegas. So Lake Las Vegas has its own dam to protect that property. And the wash flows out from underneath Lake Las Vegas, and then it makes its way to Lake Mead. And so if you've ever gone out to Lake Mead and driven across the North Shore Road Bridge, if you look down, that is the Las Vegas wash making its way to Lake Mead. Lake Las Vegas is a member of the coordination committee, and they've been a good partner in this process, but they use their own water supply for their lake, and the water from the wash goes under their lake.
Thanks for clarifying that. But I'm sorry, I thought you just said that 200 million gallons a day flows under Lake Las Vegas. Was that correct?
Yes, that's correct. In two 36-inch diameter pipes.
Wow. Mind-blowing. So we've talked about how the conveyance of the Las Vegas wash gets from in-valley out to Lake Mead flowing under Lake Las Vegas. You talked a little bit about the erosion control that happens out at the Las Vegas wash from the weirs and from the bank lining that gets done with recycled casinos. You also mentioned a little bit about coming back in and revegetating with native plant species. But, I know that the Las Vegas wash is home to a lot of different wildlife. You've got birds, you've got fish, you've got mammals, you've got insects, all of this different wildlife out at the Las Vegas wash. What does your team do when it comes to wildlife? Do you guys do anything associated with that?
Bronson, we do quite a bit. We have a team of biologists that work really hard on a daily basis with a number of duties. By putting these weirs into the Las Vegas wash, we have to get a permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. And that permit requires that we have to go back to revegetate the area after we put these weirs in place. Our permit calls for a 1-to-1 mitigation. For every acre we disturb, we have to revegetate it 1 acre. Over the years of doing this, we've done over 500 acres of revegetation. That has gone a long way to help with the wildlife that you see in the wash. Before you can go out and build these weirs, we have to send biologists out to do migratory bird clearing to make sure that there's no birds nesting in the trees. And so before any engineer can do any work, the biologists have to go out and clear it. So that's a migratory bird clearing. We also do bird surveys. We do them for threatened and endangered birds. I always tell people one of the very first indicators outside of water quality will be activity from birds. And so we monitor the birds on a monthly basis, and we have a historical record that dates back to the beginning of this program. You talk about when planting and revegetating, there's also some plants, though, we don't want. They're called invasive species. We all have this issue. After rain, we'll have some weeds in our yard. And for us, these weeds are called noxious weeds. One of our jobs is that we want to make sure that we have trees that provide habitat for wildlife and not one that's not detrimental to their habitat. And so we go in and we're pretty aggressive with clearing of noxious weeds. I'm talking about tamarisk, and some folks that live very close to the wash might see them. It's like a needle-looking tree with pink flowers that was actually brought to the United States to help with windbreaks. It became a very invasive species. Much of the work that we've done over the years has been to clear tamarisk from our revegetation sites and plant it with more suitable habitat. Another big component of things that we do is research. We want to make sure that what we're doing is not detrimental to the system. We want to know what's going on. We do water quality monitoring. This monitoring happens on a quarterly basis that we go out and we collect samples, send them off to the lab, and we make sure that the quality of water isn't degrading. And in fact, we have seen improvements. And then I spoke about how important community outreach is. We have adopted an elementary school that we have been working with since 1998. And we take them out to the wash and on to Lake Mead, and they get to be scientists for the day. And it's something that's really fulfilling to us as a staff to see kids excited about the sciences and wanting to get involved. We started a World Wetlands Day where we bring high schoolers to the Wetlands Park, and we do a 2-day science symposium. And they get to sit there and hear professional level talks from people in the field that are out doing work and to ask questions. I think those are some pretty good highlights of some of the things that the team is currently working on.
I got to say, I mean, from my perspective, and I'm sure Crystal's perspective, is we're sitting here listening to all of the activities that you and your team are managing at the Las Vegas Wash. It's pretty apparent that everything that you do out there is a balancing act. It's a matter of balancing the native vegetation species with the need for the water in the wash, with the need to prevent the erosion, with the need to ensure suitable habitat for wildlife, balancing that with the need for the water quality in the wash being returned back to Lake Mead. That's a lot of different pieces that you have to balance. Crystal, are you impressed?
It is impressive, Bronson, and you can actually see the results of the work that the committee and the SNWA has done. I've seen old pictures and old video footage of the wash when there were those peaks of erosion and it was not at its best condition. And you can just see over the last 20 years how far it's come. When you just walk around there, it's such a beautiful place. It's nice to know that the Water Authority and so many other agencies have worked together to successfully restore and protect this important natural resource in our community. I know there are some ways for the public to enjoy the wash and even help to protect it. Can you share how people here in the community might be able to enjoy the wash?
Yeah, I think, Crystal, one of the things that has been really amazing during COVID has been the number of people who have gone out to the wash and who have enjoyed it. The Wetlands Park itself is 2,500 acres. The Las Vegas Wash is a 12-mile channel. The Southern Nevada Water Authority and the Las Vegas Wash Coordination Committee are responsible for that 12 miles of water and all of the weirs that have gone in and the associated studies and revegetation. The Wetlands Park is managed by Clark County, and Clark County has a beautiful nature center that they put in, and there's a series of trails that surround the nature center, and there's also also a series of bike trails. And so I encourage anyone that's interested to go on to Clark County's website to see where these trails are. But another way that we've gotten the community to be involved and to be stewards of their environment, and I keep saying stewards because it's going to take more than just the Las Vegas Wash Coordination Committee. It's going to take everyone in this valley to help protect the Las Vegas Wash. And so one of the ways that we've done is that in the beginning, we had our very first cleanup. Many people who have lived here a long time said the wash was just a dumping ground. And so when we started our efforts in 1998, we had cleanups. And then when we had nothing else to clean up, we went to having green ups. And these green ups are held 2 times a year. And it goes a long way to helping us revegetate the wash and meet our compliance for our weirs. We're hoping that by the fall that we'll be able to have another green up. And so if anyone's interested, we have a volunteer sign up on lvwash.org. Definitely sign up for our green up event. I've been with the team since the very beginning, and it's really encouraging when I see the same volunteers come year after year. We've had more than 25 of them, and so it's just really great to see the dedication of people who want to come out and help us.
I've taken my kids out to the green up. We've volunteered out there a couple times. Now, I do have boys. They love to dig in dirt. So I would just tell parents that if you want your kids outside and they know there's a shovel and some dirt and they can plant some plants, they will absolutely love it. They always ask me to go back.
And that's exactly what happens. You see the repeaters, and I love to see the parents with the strollers. And before you know it, their kids are out the stroller. And I just feel bad as a mom that, oh, you got to go home and wash. But the kids leave with the biggest smile on their face, and where else is mom going to let them get dirty like that? It's the best picture.
It absolutely is the best picture, Keiba. You want to talk about a positive impact on the community? Look no further than the Las Vegas Wash, which is an important component of our water supply. It is the last link in our community's watershed, linking our entire urban area over to Lake Mead. If you want more information on the Las Vegas Wash, we want you to go to lvwash.org. There you can learn more about the activities of the wash. You can also sign up to be a volunteer. When those green ups come around, you'll get a notice. You'll be one of the first ones to reserve your spot to help revegetate the Las Vegas Wash. Keiba Crear, thanks so much for being on Water Smarts.
I really thank you guys for your time today and letting me talk about the wash. And hopefully I'll have someone sign up for our next green up based on this podcast. If you guys ever need me again, let me know.
Hey, thanks, Keiba. And I guess more than anything, thanks for 2 decades of dedication to the Las Vegas community, the Las Vegas Wash, and really helping to make sure that our community's water supply remains safe and reliable. Thanks, Keiba.
Thanks, guys.
The Water Smarts podcast is brought to you by the Southern Nevada Water Authority, which reminds you to follow the mandatory seasonal watering restrictions. You can find your assigned watering days on SNWA.com. You also can find landscape tips, a plant search tool to help you find beautiful water smart plants, and also get rebate coupons to help you save water and save money.
One of the rebate coupons offered by the Water Authority helps protect your home from costly leaks. Repairing water damage caused by leaks can cost thousands of dollars. But thanks to smart leak detectors, you can prevent or mitigate water damage at your home using a leak detector that sends you information by an application on your smartphone when a leak occurs.
The Water Authority offers a rebate of 50% off the purchase price or $200, whichever is less. Some devices require that you tap into your plumbing and may require a licensed plumber to install it, while others simply attach to your water meter.
Find out more about the leak detector rebate coupon on the Southern Nevada Water Authority's website at snwa.com. Wow. Crystal, I'm blown away by all of the work that has been done on a 12-mile stretch of a waterway that we call the Las Vegas Wash. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And just listening to all the things that she talked about, I mean, honestly, we probably could have gone another 2 or 3 hours just really diving deep into the Las Vegas Wash, the history and how far it's come and all the work that's put into it. I love it out there. I'm glad that we're sharing it with everybody.
It's crazy. You know, we have this desert wetland, as Keiba said, is at the bottom of the bowl, right? If you think of Las Vegas as a bowl, the Las Vegas wash is at the bottom of the bowl. So anything that flows into this valley from precipitation, rain, a little bit of snow, whatever we get there, it all runs off, makes its way down to the Las Vegas wash, eventually flows into Lake Mead. And I guess it's comforting knowing that folks like Keiba and her team are there to protect the wash, to protect us, and help make sure that those flows, as they make their way to Lake Mead, they don't affect our water quality. That's amazing.
It's almost like you have to see it to appreciate it. So we really encourage everybody, like Keiba said, get out there, just enjoy it, especially when the weather's nice. No excuse.
That's right. So we want everybody to make their way out to the Clark County Wetlands Park. You can Google Clark County Wetlands Park. You can go to lvwash.org to get more information there. It's out there near the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. That's it for us here at Water Smarts Podcast. We hope you will subscribe and listen next time. And if you have any questions for us here, feel free to email them on over to us. Send your questions to watersmarts@snwa.com, and we'll be sure to get you an answer back. And hey, if your question is good enough, you never know, you might actually hear it on the air. We'll see you next time here on Water Smarts.